1. Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto City. Hope your week is off to a good start. In just a little bit, we'll be meeting with VR visionary BlackSandz to talk about her journey in the metaverse and how she's currently helping entrepreneurs reach their dreams in the VR realm. But I want to share some things with you first. During the off-season, myself, along with two of our sponsors, Second Life Rich and DJ Marcus J, held a conference here in the Crypto City Hall of Fame. The event was focused on marketing the metaverse. Not marketing in the metaverse, but sharing our excitement with non-community members and getting family, friends, talent, and businesses in here with us without scaring them off. My portion dealt primarily with that, but then Second Life Rich gave a great tutorial on how to create an AI bot for your website to drive traffic and sales from within once they come onto VR. And DJ Marcus then rounded us out by bringing some knowledge to us about bringing talent in and sharing countless opportunities, methods they can use, and all the different things to help them create success once they're in here. The video from the event will be available on YouTube this week, and Second Life Rich's step-by-step instruction for creating the web bot is up on our Discord channel already. So if you're not subscribed to our Discord channel, there's a link in the Instagram bio, and you can get on there and join in so that you can see all the previous episodes, all the resources and stuff. But I did make a special tab on there for resources, and that's where Second Life Rich's video is. So if you missed it, definitely check it out. And like I said, the full video will be up by the end of the week. That will be on the YouTube channel. Since we started this podcast in 2022, we've had many different topics discussed, and I've learned quite a bit through osmosis. In addition, I get email newsletters, I hang around with techie community members, and although I still consider myself really a novice because the rapid rate that the technology is changing, I've learned so much. And sometimes I read about something and it catches my eye, and I really want to know the actual details, not just the high-level info, and move on. So I often ask ChatGPT to explain. Well, this inevitably leads to a very deep rabbit hole, as you can imagine, and each reply that I get from ChatGPT prompts me to ask more questions. And this was the case today, this morning when I was reading about something. So I thought I'd take a moment to share this with you. So, the amount of time I spent trying to learn more, I thought it was worth sharing the knowledge that I gained. So Sony, the electronics company, is launching its own blockchain network called Sonium, and it's built on Ethereum, and the network will be part of a larger effort to connect various blockchains known as the superchain. So initially, Sonium aims to just attract current Web3 users while it's growing and perfecting itself. And Sonium will use optimistic rollups. This is a technology that makes transactions on Ethereum faster and cheaper because Ethereum has high gas prices. It'll be connected to other networks using Optimism's OP stack, which is the same technology used by Coinbase and WorldCoin. In the first year, the focus will be only on onboarding Web3 users, with plans to integrate Sony's products and eventually expand into other enterprises and decentralized apps over the next 3 years. So we've talked a little bit about blockchain and how it works in general, and we know that a blockchain is like a shared digital register where everyone writes down transactions in a way that once it's recorded, it can't be changed. Each group of transactions then bundled into a block, and the blocks are linked together, forming a chain, hence a blockchain, creating a secure and unchangeable record. Everyone has a copy of this register, ensuring trust and transparency, as any attempt to alter the record would be immediately noticed. And, the system makes blockchain reliable, secure, keeping permanent history of all transactions. But this technology of optimistic rollups is a little bit different in its method. To put it in more basic terms, optimistic rollups are a technology used in blockchain to make transactions faster and cheaper, doing it by processing the transactions on a separate network, which is called the rollup, instead of directly on the main blockchain, like Ethereum. So this is what I was told about how it works, because I was like, ChatGPT, explain this to me in basic terms, because I don't understand it. I've never heard of it before. So basically what ChatGPT told me is that instead of doing everything on the main blockchain, which can be slow and expensive, optimistic rollups will handle most of the work on their own network. And then they send a summary of all the transactions over to the main blockchain. The rollup network assumes that all the transactions are correct, hence optimistic, and submits them as valid. This allows for things to move quickly without waiting for every transaction to be checked right away. Even though transactions are assumed to be correct, there's a period where anyone can challenge them if something seems wrong. And if a mistake is found, it gets fixed, ensuring that the system remains trustworthy. By handling most of the work off-chain and only involving the blockchain when necessary, optimistic rollups reduce the cost and increase the speed of transactions, making the blockchain more efficient overall. In essence, the optimistic rollups streamline blockchain operations by moving most of the heavy lifting off-chain while still maintaining security and trust through a system of checks and balances. But this prompted me to ask, well, what if an error did happen and it slipped through? Because you're saying you're optimistic. That doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy. So if an error in an optimistic rollup goes uncaught during the challenge period, that incorrect transaction could potentially be accepted and added into the main blockchain. However, several mechanisms help minimize the risk of this happening. There is usually a strong incentive for users to spot challenge errors. If someone successfully identifies a mistake, they earn rewards. Everybody loves rewards. This encourages the community to actively monitor the transactions. And the period for challenging transaction is typically kept short, reducing the time an error could go undetected. Even if an error does slip through, the main blockchain, like Ethereum, remains secure and intact. The optimistic rollup is built on top of this secure base. So while an individual rollup transaction could be faulty, the overall system's integrity is typically protected. If a rollup consistently fails to catch errors, it risks losing user trust, which is crucial for continued use. This creates pressure on the developers and the community to maintain a high level of accuracy through vigilance. So while there is a possibility that an error might go unnoticed, the design of the optimistic rollups includes multiple layers of protection to reduce the risk and ensure overall system maintains secure and trustworthy. And just like everything else in life, it is not perfect. Well, this also made me wonder, why is it not perfect? Aren't computers supposed to be flawless? So I asked ChatGPT, who's doing all this work? Is it computers or humans? Why are there flaws? And so the work involved in managing the optimistic rollups is carried out by different participants on the blockchain ecosystem, humans and computers, each with specific roles. So the rollup operators are the entities or the nodes that run the rollup network. They're responsible for processing transactions off-chain, bundling them into batches, and submitting these batches to the main blockchain. They handle the computational work and ensure that the transactions are processed efficiently. These roles are primarily handled by computers running specialized software. But then you have the validators. They're responsible for checking the transactions within the rollup. Although the rollup assumes the transactions are correct, the validators can scrutinize them. And if they find an error, they can challenge the transaction during the challenge period. These are humans. Then the challengers is anyone in the network that can act like a challenger. They can notice a mistake in the rollup transaction. They can submit proof to the blockchain to correct the error. The challengers are incentivized to do this with rewards, which they receive if their challenge is successful. So computers also perform this role as they continuously monitor the network for errors using algorithms. But again, humans create the algorithms and may intervene if something unusual happens. So that one's kind of a balancing act. Then you have the users, regular users interacting with the rollup, submitting their transactions. They benefit from faster and cheaper transactions, but don't need to worry about the technical details. However, they indirectly participate in trusting the system and using it for their needs. So while users are human, they interact with the system through the apps and the interfaces that are controlled by the computers. The users simply send the transactions and trust the system to do its job. Then you have the developers and the project teams. The developers and the teams behind the rollup are responsible for building and maintaining the technology. They ensure the system is secure, efficient, and user-friendly. Then they may also respond to issues and upgrades. This is where humans are most directly involved. Developers write the code that makes everything work. Project teams manage the overall design, the updates, and the improvements. The last piece is the main blockchain. Like Ethereum, it provides the foundational security for the rollup. It's where the final record of transaction is stored, and it acts as if the ultimate judge in case of disputes. These participants work together to keep optimistic rollups running smoothly, ensuring the transactions are processed quickly and securely, and that any errors are caught and corrected. So while computers do most of the heavy lifting in real time, humans play a critical part in the building, maintaining, and overseeing of the entire system. And in my estimation, therein lies the reason why it's not perfect. So that's all. I just wanted to share a little bit of the new blockchain terminology and knowledge with you. And this is one of the methods that I use a lot to learn is ChatGPT. It's my new favorite roommate who pays no rent but is very valuable. So moving on from that, I think it's time that we should bring out tonight's guest. So please join me in welcoming BlackSandz to the stage. BlackSandz, please join us. Welcome.
Hello, hello. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Please grab a seat. So welcome to Crypto City. And, you know, I've known you since back in the Allspace days. And, you know, you've been around in the VR realm and the metaverses for quite a long time. So tell us, what inspired your transition, you know, into VR initially?
The pandemic, of course. I got my first headset probably around June in 2020 after just being bored out of my mind at home and just not having enough work to do and needing to connect with other people. And so I bought that. I think I started off from big screen. I met a lady by the name of Fuchsia who told me about Altspace. And then I got in there and that was my home until is she here? Hi, Fuchsia.
Yeah, she's here.
And that was my home. So it shut down earlier this year, I think it was, you know, and then I transitioned over to Horizon Worlds. So yeah, that's how I got involved in VR initially.
The community. And, you know, I remember in Altspace, you were definitely involved also with karaoke. That was one of your little passions, and we can talk about that in a little bit. But, you know, you went from just visiting the world, and, you know, I know you've been around in all the different metaverses here up on the screen, Horizon, Spatial, and VR Chat, and probably some more. But what made you decide, you know what, instead of just being a community member and visiting everything, I think I'd like to do a little bit more in here and, you know, come up with some ideas and visions of what you thought you could bring to the metaverse?
Absolutely. So, I was a born entrepreneur. Okay. I actually started my first little side hustle, I'll say, you know, back in elementary school when I started selling candy to, you know, my classmates, you know, I buy it real cheap, sell it expensively, you know. And so I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit all the way through. And so, of course, that landed me at the local community college here teaching business and entrepreneurship. And I actually helped to develop the new School of Entrepreneurship and ran that for a few years as dean. Okay?
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so whenever people ask me, well, what do you do? Da, da, da. And then, of course, I was a business owner, of course, you know, ran a successful daycare for 10 years and a few other businesses. And so, you know, how people ask, what do you do? Da, 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 da. And I say, oh, I'm an entrepreneur and I teach entrepreneurship. So, of course, they always want to know, well, I want to start a business, but blah, blah, blah. And so after you get so many of those side conversations, okay, and it starts to eat into your social time, then, you know, I decided, well, why don't I offer some workshops? And, you know, this was for free. This was when I was in Altspace. This is me giving back to the community. And I'll offer some workshops based off of what I'm hearing people talk about. So it's usually marketing and sales and, of course, funding. And then some people just want to know, I don't even know how to get started. Like, what do I do first? You know, and I started doing that and having those workshops weekly. And it was really successful. I had a good following of, I'll say 12 to 15 people that will come out to every single workshop and actually, you know, report, hey, I launched my business. I'm so excited. Da, da, da. So that was really, really nice. Then I moved over to Horizon Worlds when, of course, Allspace shut down. And, by that time I was in a transition, in my life and starting to think about retirement and what I was going to do next and those types of things. And I was like, I think I want to do this full time, for me. Mm-hmm. And so I launched, Idea to Empire. And of course I have another business called Startup Sprint. And, Idea to Empire, though, was a Metaverse born company. And originally we started with the similar workshops, but now we're charging for these things, because this is going to be my bread and butter, And so that's how everything got started with me doing that type of business here in the metaverse.
But in hearing you say that, obviously your entrepreneurial spirit coming forward and creating your own business. Now you're not only teaching other people what to do, you're showing them this can be done. Look at what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. I've just done this. Mm-hmm. So what made you choose Horizon as your base world when this all kicked off and Allspace went away and you needed to find a place to land? There were options. Mm-hmm. What made you choose Horizon?
So for me, Horizons for me was the best when it came to social, engagement. I met quickly a lot of people that own their own business. Some were in the multiverse, which I'm there as well. But they always were in Horizon Worlds, and it felt very familiar for me and it was easier for me to navigate. Even though I'm in this tech space, I'm not a tech person. Okay. Mm-hmm. I got to make it make sense for me. And if I got to do too many and flip around and press these buttons and say stuff backwards in order to get something to work, that's not for me. And so it just felt easy for me, easier to connect with people. And at the time when I came in, they had more tools available. So that was, favorable for me as well. So I really liked Horizon Worlds for that, purpose.
Okay. So now Idea to Empire, this is, yes, like you said, a metaverse born agency. And your goals with this are to help people bring their idea to the table and turn it into an actual flourishing business or whether or not it's a for-profit, but like something that they can actually make tangible for themselves. So tell us a little bit about how you marketed that to people and how you ended up, structuring, do people come in? Is it a course? Is it something that you give them, some material and send them on their way? Or do you actually hold seminars? Like, how is it working?
Okay, sure. So, what you're describing is how we started. Okay. So yes, we started as a entrepreneurial and business development agency where we were actually helping you to formulate your business and launch it. Okay. And something is going on with my hands. And so I'm sorry about that. And help you actually get it launched. And so, that was, I will say, the first 6 months or so. I quickly learned, though, that there was a lot of people that were in the metaverse and they're like, yeah, I already have my business. Be Organics is a great example. And so she was like, I don't necessarily know that I need, a full workshop, but I really just need help with the marketing in the metaverse. Okay. I'm good IRL, but I'm having struggles in the metaverse. How do I do this? And then if I wanted to expand to another platform, how do I do that? And, how do I learn the marketplace, in the metaverse? Because even though you are still a consumer IRL and also in the metaverse, your actions and habits are very different. And so you got to learn that. Okay. And so, after about 6 months of struggling with the workshops and, people not really needing or wanting that and listening, gotta listen to your customers, right?
Of course.
Decided to, transition and switch. Okay. And go from, entrepreneurial and business support and development to let us help you expand your company into the metaverse, expand your market reach and your brand. Okay. And there's different ways of doing that and different goals for every company. And so I rebranded myself earlier this year. And what I'm aiming to do now is to work with established businesses. So for me, you have to have been in business for so long and you need to have a certain amount of revenue. And you need to say, yeah, I've been thinking about expanding my market, my brand, my reach. Metaverse maybe, or maybe to New York. I don't know. Okay. And you need to have a budget. And then I work with you and help you figure out, if you're thinking about the metaverse, what's the best platform, and then, the purposes and reasons and your goals of being here in the metaverse. So that's what I do now. First phase is I'm developing this community. Okay. And so I see up there the ideal conversations. That's one way that I'm building that community. This is a free, event that anyone can come to. They can choose to be a presenter, or you can be in the audience. And if you're a presenter, you have 6 minutes to present your business. Tell us what your goals are, what you're working on, what are your challenges. And then we do a Q&A session where we then kind of talk about, okay, so you said you need marketing help. I actually do that for a living. I can help you with this, or have you considered whatever? I'm going to connect you with this person, that person. And so it's a really nice collaboration of business experts, entrepreneurs, and professionals just coming together to help and support each other. So that's one way that I'm building that community.
Nice. So let me ask you a question. You mentioned a couple times in that if you're looking for it in the metaverse, so are you doing this for people IRL as well? Are you doing this in real life as well as in the metaverse?
No, I'm just bringing people IRL into the metaverse. Okay. So that's my primary target market, are individuals that are not yet in the metaverse, that are, so either they don't know about the metaverse, they don't know what it is, or they know what it is and they're curious about it. And that could be an option for them to expand their brand and their market reach.
Okay, so then these people who are established in the metaverse are almost like a mentor for them to come in and listen to what they're doing. We have people up here like Jen Smash and Tink and Rex, so they're perfect examples of, people who are already in here doing stuff. And so people can come listen to them and get inspired by them and maybe get some goals and tips and connected, as you said, networking with everyone else. And I actually think you were also involved in Boss Leo's White Elephant event, which was another cross networking event where people offer services to help other people within the metaverse. Okay. So, you're doing all of this in here, which is great. And you're mentoring as well as teaching, and you're also running the business end of it. So there's a balance there because, obviously you want to get paid for your work, which you deserve because you're performing a service. But there's probably, a little bit of gray area working in here where there's sometimes where somebody might just be, I just have a quick question, but how do you balance that? Is it a, per case determination? That's a quick question. No problem. Or, you know what? I can answer that plus more. Come to our, and then kind of usher them into where they belong.
Absolutely. So, Danny, who's on the screen there, teacher Danny, he actually bought my book. Okay. I mentioned that the first thing that I did after I retired was I wrote a book about how to find the right business for you, because that's always a big question that I get from, anyone. It's like, I got 10 ideas. Which one do I choose? And so I have a proven method of, figuring that out. And so every now and again, he'll have a question, about the book or how to apply whatever. I'm happy to answer that question. You know what I mean? I'm happy to help him go through that. And right now he's also part of my pilot masterminds program. And so it's called Startup Masterminds, and we meet once a month. There's 10 people that I handpicked to be in this program to kind of, help them through, with that. So, for something like that and someone that's serious, he was willing to spend money to get himself the development that he needs to launch his business. I'm with you all day. Okay. Now, someone who just wants a quick, fast pass to getting something done, I'm just like, man, and then there's so many unknowns, and I don't want to speak on something and then I don't know all the information, either because you didn't know to give it to me, you don't know the answer to it, or you're just not divulging that information to me. And then you make a decision based off of something I said. I don't really engage in those conversations, I do free consultations, 30 minutes. If you want to kind of tell me what you got going on and ask a couple of questions, then I can give some high level advice. But that's kind of how I learned to balance what I'm doing in here so that, and then also, I like to play. I'm a big kid. Okay. So sometimes when you see me in here, I'm just trying to have fun. I don't want to talk business.
Right.
So, catch me during my business hours, so that's another way that I kind of help balance myself and set some boundaries, for other people.
Yeah, I love hearing you say that because that's something that is actually relevant to both real life and in here. I might do something for a living. That doesn't mean I want to be doing it at 10 o'clock at night, and a quick question from a friend, maybe, yeah. But like most of the time I'm like, yeah, well, let's talk about that tomorrow. Right now, I just want to have some fun. Sometimes you just need to unwind and enjoy because, you did initially come in here for community and fun. And it's great that you've been able to develop that into something more. But sometimes you just have to be able to step away and enjoy your friends and have some fun, play some games, sing karaoke, which you love to do. So let's talk about so you have all these hats that you wear in here. You're a community member, a business, a mentor, a host of the talk shows that you're putting on over in both. They're both in Spatial and Horizon, correct? You do them in both?
Correct, yes.
Okay. So, you're juggling learning all these different platforms. And because they're, for those of you who are not familiar with different platforms, they're not all the same. What we look like in here is not the same as what you look like in Horizon. Obviously, that's your Horizon avatar. This is you here. When you go into Spatial, sometimes they're more like the Ready Player Me, but the technology is a little different in each one too. So in order to be successful at what you do, you have to learn to overcome the challenges and the tricks of the trade for each platform. So it's a learning curve. Even if you're knowledgeable, you still got to learn every day.
Absolutely.
So, and then we bring in your fun, the karaoke. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. So, well, I'll tell you, I was born singing. And Nadi, how you doing? She's one of my favorite singers out there. Okay. She's always come to all of my karaoke, events. And, that's actually how, when I first bought my headset, I think one of the first apps I downloaded was Big Screen. Okay. It was like, oh, you can go in there and you watch movies, da, 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 da. And I'm looking at the different rooms and I saw one that says karaoke and I was like, shut your mouth. They can do karaoke in VR. And I went in. So literally almost every single day I was in somebody's karaoke room, belting out tunes, all these different things. I do karaoke in real life. I do karaoke in every country I go to. Anytime I do karaoke. Okay. 3:00 in the morning, honey, in my bed with my computer, I'm doing karaoke. Okay. And so it was just amazing to be able to see it here when I got introduced to, Alt Space. And after being there for a couple of months, I found out that I can create my own free world. Right. And just use a template, smack some stuff on there and call it a day. And so I started BlackSandz karaoke, in Alt Space. We had it every other Wednesday and it was packed almost every single time. It was just so much fun. And I had a lot of fun with the themes and adding the different pictures and stuff. Oh, it was just amazing. And so it just made sense to, copy that when I came into Horizon Worlds. And it was so nice that Cool Vibes. She built a world for me. She said, I'll do it for you for free. And I did give her a little something as, love offering and whatnot, but she built that world. And as you see that picture up there, that's her work. And it was so wonderful and beautiful. And so I brought that, in here. And now we do karaoke here. I got a world from DJ Marcus. And we're going to be doing karaoke in there.
Kudos. Shout out to DJ Marcus for helping the community always.
You, Marcus.
That's awesome.
Always. Yes. So, music centers me. It calms me down. And it really just brings love and joy into my heart and my life, and I don't care if you can sing or not, to me, it's karaoke. It doesn't matter what your talent is or what you think your talent is or isn't. It's really about the passion. And sometimes when I see people, they say, "Oh, hey, BlackSandz," I go, "How you doing?" When they sing back to me, "I'm doing fine." I'm like, "Okay, yes." I love it. It's just an energy that you can't, get rid of. It's just so magnificent. And so this is why I'm so in love with karaoke. I even have my students IRL class do karaoke.
Oh, that's so funny. I love that. So you need to connect with Loudfire if you haven't already, because she sings wonderfully also.
Okay.
But I will tell you, you're sitting there saying, "I don't care if you have talent or not. Trust me, you have not heard me sing karaoke. It is really bad."
It's okay. It's okay. It literally is about the passion. Like, I don't care. I have seen people who would consider themselves not good singers come and burn down that stage and get a standing ovation. And then somebody will get up there and sing a perfect Whitney Houston song, but they had no passion. And people are like, "Oh,
true.
That was nice. That was cute."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah, you can sing well, but I didn't feel it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus that other person got up there and made you feel it. There's a huge difference.
Well, I will say, even though I don't do karaoke, I did visit your world when we were in alt space. And actually I had heard about you when I was at Live and Local, which was one of the great alt space places to hang on Thursday nights back in the day.
Yes,
our old stomping grounds. But I love that you've been able to bring the one thing that you love so much into all the different metaverse platforms so that you can enjoy it coinciding with your work. You at least have something for fun too.
Yes.
So
yes.
Let's talk about bridging the gap. We talk about all the different platforms, there's challenges and stuff, but other than the technical stuff, how are you able to, bring in the community to what you're doing, whether it's karaoke or your business? How do you find, how different is it working the community?
Mm-hmm. In terms of on different platforms or just in general?
Yeah. Well, a little bit in general, but mostly when you go when we were in alt space, we had the event board. So you would go in, you'd see everybody's in these worlds. It was easy to find, there's an event tonight at this time, this time, this time. Then we kind of all, some of us went to Horizon, some went over here to VR chat, and you're basically looking on the menu like, where are my friends? And you can only do so much of that in some of these, like in spatial, you can't really even find people. So how do you reach out and bring people in? I mean, you're doing an actual show event in spatial. How do you get the people to come in? Is it mostly social media?
Okay, so this is where your collaborations and partnerships really are important. Okay. And so I have some key individuals that I collaborate with, that I partner with, and they help get the word out, and they support me and I support them. So that's one thing. Okay. Because like you said, you don't have the event board, where you don't have a central place. And then Spatial just recently opened it up where you can actually see where your people are and you can join on them. Otherwise, you just have to kind of guess or call me. Okay, this is where I am.
Right.
Type thing. And so, it's really critical to have, a people, on your team, right, in your toolkit that can help you get that word out. And then, yes, I heavily use social media. Instagram is my go-to thing. By the way, I don't like social media. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
But it's a necessary evil.
Use it. It's a necessary evil.
Necessary evil.
And I utilize it and I put that out there. And then I'm also in I don't even know it's really a networking, but I'm going to call it a women in tech networking group that meets on Tuesdays. And we just talk everything tech. And cool. I'm going to say a bunch of stuff in here because I literally said that I'm not a tech person, but I'm going to keep talking like I am. So just disregard that, okay?
I love it.
But I'm just learning, I love to learn. I'm an educator and I love to be educated. And so this is why I do what I do. But, again, that's a group of about 30 women that, also can be that network to help share about what's going on. And we share, for each other. So that's kind
I'm
of
going to have to connect with you on that because I want to know more about that group.
Oh, absolutely. You would be very, very good in that group. Yeah. So that's what I do. I'm thinking about expanding here to VR chat. I do have a headquarters here. that I'm not utilizing as much as I should be, right? So I'm going to be bringing ideal conversations to here as well, and then starting to develop, this community here. And I found that people like the app that they're on. Okay, so they're not necessarily going to follow you from app to app to app. So, for depending on what you're doing, you may have to cultivate a new community on that particular app that you're on. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just like people in New York aren't going to fly to San Francisco to get your bagels. So if you want people in New York to buy your bagels, either you got to ship them or you got to set something up in New York. It is what it is.
Absolutely.
And so you're cultivating that, so that's how I bridge the gap between.
And it's funny when you say, you don't like social media. I hear that from so many people. Like some people are like old school people, like, oh, I don't like Instagram. I'm only on Facebook. And I'm like, well, Facebook's hardly used now. Now Instagram is where you need to be, and it's like then people are like, oh, but Instagram, you have to stay on it constantly. It's constantly updated. I'm like, it is a necessary evil. The good thing is that nowadays there's a lot of packages out there that you can connect with that help push out to all the different areas. So you can create one post and push it out to multiple places. And that's helpful. And it's also, there's a lot of AI programs to help with that as well, so that it can help you generate content. So, I'm managing 5 Instagram accounts, and it's very, mine lacks. My personal one is the one that gets no activity because I'm doing all the other ones and trying to, keep them up and coming. But I have definitely found that relying on AI to help generate content, even if I'm not using all of it, it at least helps with ideas and everything else to, put the text in with it. And that along with word of mouth, you're right. That's how you get most of the community to show up to your stuff. We're grateful that we end up with people every single week coming into our show, and, we have some regulars, and then we have new people sometimes popping in like, hey, what's going on here? And then it's important to retain them, go up, meet them. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for coming to the show. What are you doing? How do you move in here? Come back next week. It's great to be able to connect that way. So let's talk about your future plans. What, you mentioned maybe coming into VR chat. Are you planning on doing more of your Idea to Empire? Are there any other new projects coming up? Anything special you have going on?
So, 2 big things that I have going on right now. One is the transition to VR chat with Ideal Conversations, and then maybe some other things as well. With Idea to Empire, one of the things that I do is I do support 4 platforms right now, and that's VR Chat, Spatial, Multiverse, and Horizon Worlds. So any clients that want to be on those platforms, I support them in getting into those platforms. If they want other platforms, then I've partnered with other people, like if you want to Gauge or Banter or something like that, and they can help them, on those platforms because I'm not so familiar with them yet. So that's one thing that I'll be doing here. And my target date for that is end of September. So we'll see. Okay. Be on the lookout.
Wow. Right around the corner. Nice.
Right around the corner. It's like tomorrow, right? And the other thing that I'm doing, and I'm so close to getting this done, is launching the Empire. And the Empire is going to house a number of things. But that is going to be my community with everyone. So, entrepreneurs, business professionals and experts, and just professionals in general can be a part of the community. Right now it's free, or you can pay for the premium. It's $5 a month if you want to do that. What that gets you is the community itself, so you can communicate with each other and collaborate, partner. It comes with the comprehensive directory that's both B2B and B2C facing. And so you can put your information in there. So not only can you connect with other business owners, but clients can find you as well. Okay.
Very nice.
And then it comes with, if you get the premium plan, it comes with, advertisement. So promotion. So we'll promote you on my website and all my social media accounts. So anything that you've got going on, you can give it to me and I'll push it out, for you in the bigger community. So it's just another way of connecting and expanding your brand awareness and connecting with, like-minded individuals with that. And of course, Ideal Conversations is all up in there.
Now, will the Empire be in one platform or multiple platforms?
It's actually online. It's through my computer, so it's not tied to any platform. So anyone, IRL or in VR, can be a part of that. And that's my goal, is bridging that gap and between IRL and the metaverse. So my first step to that was start up masterminds, where I have 3 or 4 people from the metaverse and 3 or 4 people from IRL that doesn't really know anything about that. And I just want that conversation to happen organically. You know, I didn't say, hey, we got some people from the metaverse, you know, whatever. It's just, it's going to come up, you know,
of course.
And then well, what does that mean? You know, well, tell me more about it, you know, and they get curious. And so, my goal is to educate and support. So I educate people about the metaverse and just what it is. Not even do you want to get in, just what is it and what can you do? You know, somebody's like, you can earn money in the metaverse. Yeah, I've been earning money. I can show you how to do that if you want to. And then the support when they're ready to come in.
Well, that's amazing. I'm looking forward to seeing all this. And you said you're going to have this done in a couple of weeks. That's great. No, I'm just kidding.
We'll see.
No, that's wonderful. So for right now, if somebody is interested in, you know, getting in touch with you, we're going to put up your the Instagram and your website for Idea to Empire, so people can reach out there. Obviously, you're, you know, in Horizon, you're over here bouncing around. If they come to one of your events for Ideal Conversations, can they, you know, grab you and say, you know, hey, you know, I'd like to set up an appointment with you to talk about some stuff? What's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
Absolutely. Well, I'll say the best way is reaching out to me via Instagram. And so you can send me a message, you know, there, whether we're friends on Instagram or not, you can still send a message and let me know if you need something, and then I can help you from there. Of course, if you do see me around, definitely come up and talk to me. At the very least, we can set up a time to talk later if I'm not available at that moment, but sometimes I am, you know, and I take meetings on any platform. So I meet you where you're comfortable. So, you know, as long as I can get there, then, you know, I'll meet you there, or you can come meet me in one of my offices on one of the 4 platforms that I'm on as well.
And for those who are interested in karaoke, when can they come and do karaoke with you? When is that?
Karaoke for BlackSandz karaoke is on hiatus right now while I'm building and developing 2 companies at the same time and teaching and you know, maybe trying to keep a little bit of sanity, napping here and there. But I'm always online doing karaoke, and I will do a pop-up. I will do a karaoke right now if that's what y'all wanted to do. Okay. But I'm hoping later this year, maybe late Q4, I can, you know, get back into the fun of things and, you know, bring back BlackSandz karaoke. But for right now, it's on hiatus.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, you've got a little bit going on your plate, so we can understand. But I'm sure, you know, for those of you in here who currently sing with BlackSandz at karaoke, you'll be hearing her soon. And we'll be looking forward to the updates. So I'm going to stay in touch with you so we'll know when things are up and running, so we can drive some people over to the Empire to check it out and to be able to, you know, when you do get established here in VR, chat with everything so that, you know, people can filter in through there. Because I do think, you know, one thing that you said is true. Like, people have an affinity for a certain platform. We all kind of jump around to all of them, but we always consider one of them home. You know, Altspace was home for everybody who was involved in it. But once that fell out, you know, like I go over to Horizon all the time, but I still consider VR chat my new home. You know, and I think it's vice versa. People from Horizon have been crossing the street and coming over here to play with us as well. But at the same time, you know, they consider themselves from the Horizon neighborhood. So, you know, I think that even though we see a lot more cross-platform events, we see a lot of events now where it's a multi-night event, one night in VR chat, one night in Horizon, you know, between music concerts and, you know, just other events as well. And I think that that's great that there's a little bit more diversity going on there. But I do feel like, you know, it's going to be a while before people are like jumping back and forth on the regular. It's usually like, oh, tonight we're doing this, you know. But hopefully we will end up at some time in the near future with an event board, which may in turn cause people to jump back and forth because they'll say, hey, we got this at 8:00 and that at 9 over in Horizon, and jumping around. So
one of the things that I'm including with the Empire is an event board where anyone that's a member of the Empire can add their events, and it doesn't matter what platform, it is. And it's just say this is where and what in time and all that kind of stuff. And it's going to be similar to how it was in AltSpace, where you can sort by the month or the day or the type of event, that type of thing. So that is coming as well. So I'm like super stoked.
So you need to get on that quickly. I'm excited about. That will be wonderful.
Very excited, And I'm hearing also that, they're working on this technology where you can seamlessly go between, platforms without having to literally leave the platform and then find it and go, So they already have it, but it only works one way in the multiverse, where you can have a door in your world in the multiverse and it will take you to another platform. So I have a door in my office in the multiverse that brings you directly to my office in Horizon Worlds.
Okay.
And that's amazing. It's just, unfortunately, once I'm in Horizon Worlds, I got to shut it all down and go back if that's what I want to do. So hopefully they will open that up so that you can go back and forth, pretty easily. But, we'll see.
Let's hope they grow that, because that would make life a lot easier for most of us. So that would be really good. Hopefully that will be a Q4 project as well.
That's hopeful. Yeah, we shall see.
Well, I'm so grateful for you coming on here tonight. I know how busy you are. I appreciate you taking the time to come talk with us and tell us all about what you're doing. I look forward to hearing the updates from you. So I will definitely be checking in with you probably beginning of October to see if everything is live and ready to go. And, just thank you for sharing so that people know that if they do have an idea and they do think it would be a great idea for a business to bring in here, because maybe there's people sitting here in our audience or listening right now to the episode and they're like, God, my business is doing so well and I'd love to bring it in there, and they're already established, and you'd be the person to guide them to setting up what they need to do.
Absolutely. I'm here to help. So just let me know.
Are you here to hear, people? Check in. And next week, we are bringing you Bernice Lohman from Lohman Creative Services. She's going to be coming on, and she's great. And she does a lot of stuff over in Horizon, but she even wrote a book called I Create in the Metaverse, and it's written like a children's book so that anybody can get involved, children, adults, and actually learn that the creating in the metaverse is for everyone. So it's going to be exciting to have her come on and hear her story and hear about some of the things that she's doing right now. Another person who's helping the community grow.
Yes. Oh, love her.
So it's been a great episode, and thank you for being here. And thank you to all of you for coming on tonight. I want to thank our sponsors, DJ Marcus, Kip York, Fuchsia from Virtual Fitness Group, and we have Sato Mora, who is almost done with his virtual animation. It's if you're on his Patreon, you've been watching him grow. It is really coming along. It's pretty amazing, and he's putting the final installments right now. And then we have Second Life Rich from Hume AI and Lux VR, and Boss Leo from the Diamond Resilience, all of them contributing to us, and they are helping us grow and support our efforts here. So we're excited to see some big things coming up in the near future. But thank you all for being here tonight on your Monday night, and we look forward to seeing you next week.